Man, 100 videos. Better make this one kick ass. Hey guys, the Black Critic Guy here on this beautiful night. Scratch that. Kick-ass night. Don't worry, I promise that's the last kick-ass pun I'm gonna make tonight. And not only am I presenting my 100 video tonight, but I'm also here to present my review of Kickass 2. And you know we gotta make the 100 video a special occasion, so joining us on this review and coming out of retirement is my good friend TNShowbiz!
How's it going, folks? My name is Thomas, or you can call me TNShowbiz, and welcome to our second collaborative review, and also happy 100th video to the Black Critic Guy. As you may or may not know, the Black Critic Guy and I did our first collaborative review with G.I. Joe Retaliation, but we're gonna celebrate this time by talking about the sequel of a pretty kick-ass film, Kickass 2.
So the story of Kickass 2 obviously takes place after the events of Kickass, where we follow Dave, who's trying to be a normal high school senior, but at the same time he's kind of bored living this normal life. He wishes to get back into the groove as Kickass. So in order to get back into the groove, he teams up and trains with Hit Girl, then later on joins this vigilante group known as Justice Forever, and then mayhem, over-the-top violence, and some great character development ensue. Now, unlike most people, I wasn't a huge fan of the first Kickass. I mean, I enjoyed the over-the-top violence, and some of the story elements were pretty interesting, but it really didn't entertain me as much as I thought it would. But then again, I think the reason that I really didn't enjoy the first movie is that I went in thinking that it was going to be a conventional superhero movie, but it was very unconventional, showing a more realistic depiction of what would happen if a bunch of people put on some mask and went out and tried to serve justice. Most of the time they get their ass kicked.
When I first heard that Kickass 2 was officially announced, I was actually looking forward to it. I liked Kickass 1. I thought it was funny, violently amusing, and vulgar in a good way. And yes, I knew that Jim Carrey was boycotting Kickass 2, which was quite surprising because he was in that film. However, I became pretty skeptical with this film because it was directed by the director of this piece of shit and that piece of shit. But after seeing some reviews, I was expecting to have a lot of fun from Kickass 2. And then I got to see Kickass 2. Did this film kick major asses like his predecessor? Well, I have to admit, I actually enjoyed this film. I thought this movie was entertaining and funny, but it didn't have the fresh air or the good old atmosphere from its prequel.
And so I went into Kickass 2 with an open mind, and I gotta tell you guys, I had a blast watching this movie. Not only were the action scenes awesome to watch and way over the top to the point where it was a bit gruesome at times, but there was some strong character development and character depth. Characters had great chemistry with each other, and the story was very interesting, and it went dark places that I didn't think they would go. I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, some of the scenes in the movie were a bit over the top to the point where realistically that would never happen. But I loved how most of the movie was grounded in this realism and how your actions have consequences. And to me, that's what the theme of Kickass is, both 1 and 2. Your actions have consequences, whether it be good or bad. Not only did they address that dark element, but they balanced it really well with humor. I laughed out loud so many times in this movie. The kid who played McLovin, because I really don't know how to pronounce his name alone in the film makes you want to laugh. And for those of you who didn't see the Red Band trailer, I will not spoil what his name is for you so that you can laugh at it as well. Probably the funniest thing in this entire movie is how they lampoon the whole high school lifestyle and how it's bullshit. That was hilarious and probably was worth the ticket price alone. But you know, the action scenes and the characters, they also were reasons to go see the movie, but I'm just saying, that was priceless.
First off, let me tell you about my first impression of this movie. I went in and I was expecting some good amount of action, and I was really surprised of how funny this movie was. I laughed at most of the funny scenes, and I thought those scenes were hilarious. But after seeing Kickass 2, it felt like this movie focused more on the humor than the violent action. To me, that's not a big problem, but I'm just pointing it out. You can consider Kickass 2 as the R-rated version of Iron Man 3. Remember that movie having more humor than the action? Yeah, Kickass 2 was like that, but it's more mature.
Most of the characters in this film, with the exception of the villains, were very likable and went through some growth and development, especially our two main characters of Kickass and Hit Girl. I really loved Hit Girl's story. Now, I don't want to give too much away, but I really loved how they executed her story and the bond with this kind of surrogate father with her. I loved that story. Probably one of the coolest characters in this film Colonel Stars and Stripes at your service. Now I know you all want me to talk about the controversy with Jim Carrey pulling his support from the movie, and as much as I thought that was a dick move and he should have understood what he was signing up for, I mean the guy, he has his own opinions. If he didn't want to support the film, that's really on him. But I thought he gave a fantastic performance as Colonel Stars and Stripes. I mean, he was a very likable character, he gave a fantastic performance, and I liked him. And speaking of acting, the acting was solid all around. Aaron Johnson did a fantastic job as Kickass, and Chloe Grace Moretz did a fantastic job as Hit Girl. I can't see anybody else playing a better Hit Girl than Chloe Grace Moretz. She was awesome. Not only that, but you got Donald Faison, aka Turk from Scrubs. He's in this movie, and he was pretty awesome as well. And then you got Morris Chestnut, who I didn't even know was in this movie. This guy has been in like 4 movies this year. He is coming back in a huge way, and I thought he gave a stellar performance. I loved his performance.
Of course, this film had a group of very likable leads from Kick-Ass 1. Kick-Ass, Hit Girl, and even Red Mist. But he's no longer Red Mist, and he's now called the which was a hilarious supervillain name. And I also like the performances from Chloe Moretz, Aaron Taylor Johnson, and Christopher Mintz-Plasse. I probably pronounced it wrong, but he's cool.
And lastly, the action scenes. They were kick-ass. Yes, I know I said I wasn't gonna say it again, but you know what? I couldn't let the opportunity slip me. I just wanted to say it again. But seriously, the action scenes were intense and thrilling. I cheered, I groaned. In fact, I think I groaned more than I cheered because some of these scenes are pretty brutal.
It may sound wrong when I say this, but the violence or the action in this movie was pretty cool. I thought it was handled very well, but it wasn't as crazy as Kick-Ass 1. And that's one of the main issues in this film. The violence was toned down, and I was concerned with that.
Now, as much as I really liked this movie, there were a couple of problems that I had. First off, the first act of the movie felt very rushed. Like they fast forward through a lot of scenes that I felt like they should have fleshed out a little more. Hell, I would have been fine with a 2.5 hour Kick-Ass movie. It definitely deserved that. Like I mentioned earlier, there are a few scenes in this movie that went way over the top to the point where it took me out of the realism of the movie. 2 in particular. Now, I'm not gonna say what the scenes were, but when I was watching them, I said to myself, wow. These are like scenes I would see in a superhero movie. I know basically Kick-Ass is a superhero movie, but it's a more realistic take on what would happen if real people donned on costumes. And those shots felt like what you would see in a Hollywood superhero movie.
I wanted to know more about like the decent amount of superheroes and supervillains in this movie, but there were too many superheroes and supervillains, and most of them were underdeveloped. Of course, this film focused more on the leads, but there wasn't enough character development on Colonel Stars and Stripes, which was a bit of a letdown. Like I said before, the action in this movie was pretty kick-ass, but there wasn't enough action with Hit Girl, which was pretty disappointing. I wanted to see more Hit Girl, but instead I saw less. It was such a letdown in a kick-ass movie. You know, there were many characters that were very likable, except that one character named Marcus, played by Morris Chestnut. In Kick-Ass 2, he was the polar opposite of Big Daddy from Kick-Ass 1. However, I can give credit to that character for being very moral and righteous, but on the other hand, he was such a party pooper. The way how he controlled Chloe Moretz's character was not fun at all.
And my last gripe with the film is that there was this one major cliche moment that I called right off the bat. I even told my friend Jeremy, who I saw the movie with, I said, this is what's gonna happen with this character, and that's what happened. I was just like, really? You went with that cliche? Come on.
Overall, I did enjoy this film for its high entertainment values, but it was not as great as its prequel. The flaws were all over the place, but the violent action and the humor were the redeeming qualities. If you have low expectations and/or want to enjoy vulgar humor and balls to the wall action, you will have a blast with Kick-Ass 2. My final verdict for Kick-Ass 2 is a 7 out of 10. To me, it's a good popcorn flick, but I can best describe this film as my guilty pleasure. So, let me ask you a question, Black Critic Guy. What is your final verdict?
But overall, I had a kick-ass time with Kick-Ass 2. You know what? I don't even care. I'm just gonna keep doing it. The action scenes were thrilling. The story was strong. The characters are well developed and likable, most of them. And the comedy was spot on. It is definitely the best way to end the summer right here. And that's why I'm gonna give it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I truly think that it's one hell of a film, and you should definitely go check it out. If you're a fan of Kick-Ass, you have no reason not to see it. But anyway, what did you guys think of this film? Did you like it a lot? Did you feel like it was boring? You really didn't care for it? And as much as Kick-Ass is the main character of this film, you gotta give it up to Hit Girl. She steals the show. And that's why I'm gonna ask you guys, who is your favorite badass female hero? It could be from a comic book, a TV show, what have you. Comment below let me know.
Again, I want to give a huge thanks to the Black Critic Guy for letting me collaborate with him. At first, he asked me if I wanted to collaborate again, and I wasn't sure about that at first because I retired as a movie critic. But then I was like, you know what, Black Critic Guy? I will collaborate with you again. But now, I am moving on. You can check out my channel for TV reviews, gameplay videos, and some miscellaneous stuffs. And speaking of TV reviews, I hope the Black Critic Guy will collaborate with me and my friend The Ideal Critics for the Walking Dead reviews. You can click the like button and share this video and subscribe to our channels. Also, happy 100th video, Black Critic Guy.
And now that the review is over, I want to thank you guys for watching my 100th video. I promise more videos to come. In fact, I'll be shooting out a bunch of reviews coming soon. I want to thank my friend TNShowbiz for coming out of retirement and doing this review with me. Go check out his channel. Link will be in the description. And also check out my Facebook. I'm trying to break 200 likes, so please go check it out. Tell your friends about it. But until then, guys, hit that subscribe button. If you're new to my channel, welcome to the Black Critic Guy. Like this video if you really enjoyed it, and I'm Tony Wilder II, signing off here on the 100th video in the Black Critic Guy. Till then, peace, YouTube.